If you love talking about cats, but your friends and family are kind of over it, this is the podcast for you. Join your hosts, Danielle Stray Woolley and Elizabeth Calico Gearhart, on the Jersey Podcats, where everyday cat lovers share funny stories, challenging situations, and ask their questions about cats. All right, let's get right into this episode.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I am Danielle Woolley.
And I'm Elizabeth Gearhart, and we are the Jersey
Podcats. It only took us 39 episodes, and I promise this, or maybe 29, I don't even know now. But this is the last time I'm going to comment on that because it sounds great. And then I point out that I'm like not so great at it. And it's like, okay, no one noticed, Danielle, get over it. So you can always tell when we're recording on a Friday. Like Friday lunches are the funniest because we're so silly. Would you agree?
Yeah, because it's the end of the week and I'm already half gone. Although I have a lot of work to do after this. So I guess
we're putting a lot of pressure on our guests. Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah, she's going to have
no. I feel like
I carry the show.
I should have started drinking already, I think. Maybe loosen up.
Who is our guest, Danielle?
So we are joined today by my good friend, Julia, who you guys probably know is Jules Henry, aka Henry's fur mom. And go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, thank you guys for having me on the show. This is my first podcast appearance ever.
So, you popped your podcast cherry. Yay!
So I'm a little nervous, actually. So I guess a little bit about me. I wear a few hats, as a bunch of us do, but marketing by day for an engineering firm. And I'm also working on some content creation, just trying to find a creative outlet for some of the skills that I think, that I enjoy using. And my kids taught me TikTok, kind of.
And you're borrowing their tech gear right now, don't lie.
And I've got my son's podcasting microphone. So I've just been doing that for probably since January. I just decided, I'm kind of bored. My kids are both in high school now. They're very busy and they have friends, and just needed a hobby. So I've been doing some user-generated content creation for different brands, which is fun because I don't have to even have an audience for that. It's almost like getting commercial work, which is blowing my mind. Like I actually just got a deal with a dental aligners company.
And you're stoked. You look so excited when you said that.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. When I met with the marketing person about it on Zoom, I'm like, what's the turnaround? Because if I have to actually get braces for this, it's going to be a little bit.
But you're like, but I'm open to it. Talk to me.
But yes, but please. So no, it's a different type of script and everything. So I have a meeting about that. Did you guys hear that noise? I probably should turn.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm getting announcements. You guys cut that. Just cut that later.
Yeah, we don't edit, but continue.
Okay, good.
I mean, we could, but I choose not to. And it's funny because what you were just saying about finding a creative outlet, this is the creative outlet for us as well. Even though we're monetizing it as a business, I forgot how much I love talking to people and talking about cats and bringing different personalities together. Elizabeth is obsessed with people and cats, so it's like a match made in heaven here. And then you're here because you hate cats. So
yeah, so I want to hear about how could you possibly hate cats? How could that have started?
Where did it start?
Did you have something really bad happen when you were a baby or something?
Well, I mean, now I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a therapy session. Well, no, I've had terrible allergies my whole life to all things with fur, cats especially. And I did actually have a cat of an ex-boyfriend in high school attack me.
Ooh.
But
because you were talking trash about cats.
They know. I think they know. And so, I don't think I've ever had a warmth towards cats, especially I couldn't get near them anyway. But
do I remember correctly? Didn't you have to stay outside at friends' houses when they had cats?
Oh my God. Yeah, it was bad. It kind of ruined my childhood a little bit. And Danielle knows, any friends with cats and dogs, I could never stay overnight. It was always like, only be able to be in the house for a little bit. And also, I have asthma. So, not to make this a kind of a nerd session, but it was just a mess. So And my mother would not let me get allergy shots. So that kind of didn't happen till later. And I do have a dog now who's hypoallergenic because that was the only option. And I don't know, I just kind of thought, you know what, I bet it's going to work out. So I had to, I am a fan of rescue, but I had to be sure that my animal was bred, to I guess like purebred parents. So I knew what I was getting, because I know a lot of times you go to these pet stores and they're like, oh, what kind of dog do you want this to be? Yeah, sure. It's a Woodle. Sure.
Oh gosh.
So what kind of dog did you get?
So he is a Woodle. He's a half soft-coated Wheaten Terrier and a half poodle mix, and both has Kennel Club certified, I guess what they call like purebred parents. I had to go to West Virginia to get him, and put down a deposit 6 months before he was conceived, and wait for him to be conceived. And it was this huge thing. And I remember Ed and I, he didn't know I put down the deposit. I was just like, we're getting a dog.
I'm sure that went great.
Well,
it is your husband, I'm taking it.
Ed is my husband. He heard me on our security camera talking about it with my mother, saying, I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm getting the dog. Oh, no. And so he warmed up to it, and we had all this time to get excited about it. Like we were expecting a baby. Yeah. And, we're both previously divorced, and our kids are from our previous marriages. So this was kind of like our baby together. Aww. And it was
pets are family, 100%.
100%. And I remember that when his, he was born with all of his siblings, there was like almost like a draft. We called it the puppy draft. And we had like 6 pick out of this, like 7 puppies. And we got to know the puppies. The breeder would post pictures every day of the different puppies. And as they grew, and they all had different names, and he was Little Boy Orange. So he had an orange collar, and it
definitely sounds like the Puppy Bowl for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
And I imprinted on him as soon as I saw him on YouTube. I was like, that's my dog. But we had 6th pick, and I was nervous because I'm like, everyone's going to want him. And I remember the breeder taking videos and putting them on YouTube, and she had Little Boy Orange, and he was just like so laxed. He was the big kind of dopey, like not alpha of the group. So I'm like, oh, good. He's going to be low key. He's going to be, and Ed did not want a tiny little yappy dog. He wanted something a little bit bigger. So I did not want anything too energetic,
and then tell everybody what Henry's personality is.
Energetic, and he's crazy. And he's, they call it the Wheaten Greetin. He's a jumper, and, but he's very sweet. But I remember when it came time for us to choose, and we waited, and we got the call, and it was our turn. And she's like, okay, well, little girl purple and little boy orange are left. And we were like, yeah,
it was meant to be.
Yeah. So we got them. And then we had to drive to West Virginia to pick them up. And there's a picture of me that I'll share with you after the podcast. If you,
we'll put it in the,
of my face with this puppy in my lap. And my face is, what the hell did I just get myself into? He was like scream crying, kind of like, as we were driving away. And I felt so bad taking him away from his mom. And it was going to be like a 9-hour drive. And I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? And of course, I get home, and a couple weeks later, I am allergic to him. So
that was going to be my next question. At what point? So when you said there was a picture of you, I'm like, did your eyes start blowing up right at that instant? Was it not till you got home?
It wasn't too bad, because he was, it's not so bad with puppies, and he is hypoallergenic, which I've learned it does not mean you're not allergic to it. It's just less standard, less shedding and all that. But I did, within a couple weeks, I started to get some real bad, like systemic issues, like that were starting to affect my quality of life. So I'm like, I'm going to go get allergy shots, and they've worked. Thank God.
Because at this point, he's a family member. So
yeah.
And it's interesting, this topic, and I'm like getting like heated, but not, because then there's people, and I understand, because there's so many different things that happen in life, and there's so many things to prioritize. But then there's people that say like, I'm allergic, I have to get rid of this animal right now. Like,
yeah, that was not an option.
Family.
I was even to this day, like, because I still, even though I have allergy shots, I still like have bad like times a year. And my mother's always like, maybe you should really not have gone. I'm like, don't go there. I couldn't even imagine it. I couldn't,
Yeah.
I think about how sad my puppy would miss me.
Right.
Oh
And
yeah.
And not to brag, but when last time I visited, you guys were like, "Oh, don't mind if he runs and hides from you. He's nervous." And he came and he jumped on me and he loved me.
Oh.
But you know what I was thinking about after the fact? And I kind of almost don't want to say it because now when I come back, I'm going to wear a different sweater. But my sweater was woven in the same color and texture of his hair. Like, this is so
Wow.
bananas that I think of these things. So I'm like, well, why did he like me? It's because I'm a nice person. He knows I love animals. But I kind of think I looked like one of his siblings,
No,
and that's why he was like, Danielle's my friend.
Oh no, I think, I don't think so. I think he was just drawn to your
You
personality.
paid him before I got there.
We had a
Now-
talk and I was like, listen,
Danielle, you are an animal magnet.
I
I mean,
am.
there could be a snake slithering across the road and it would see
It'll
you
find
and
me.
turn
I
around
know.
and come and wrap itself around your leg.
I agree. Now, I'm going to ask you a very important question. If Henry wants to come out from under the bed, he's welcome to answer as well. But
okay.
we're going to have a little bit of fun. So I don't know for any new listeners here, if you're familiar, but we like to do a little segment called Cats vs. Dogs. Usually it's a little bit crazier because we like to have a bunch of people on. But I wanted to give Julie an opportunity to talk about like why she hates cats, not
Oh.
just this is why dogs are better. So
You actually
Okay.
hate cats, Julie.
Oh, I
That is a strong word.
I wouldn't say hate. And my sister has a cat
That's good.
and Lucy, and she's so sweet. And,
That's your
but
niece, you know.
my niece Lucy. And it's just so different than having a dog. It's just and I think and I do have some reasons why I think dogs are better. But I mean, so yeah, I want to say hate cats. Let's not say hate, but
Okay.
Okay.
but yeah, I definitely don't have the same connection.
That's a
with-
good one. So Danielle and I like to say that we prefer living with cats over dogs. We don't hate dogs. We like dogs. We just don't want to live with them.
I have a best friend that's a dog and her name is Mia. I feel like I've said this 10 times.
Yeah. So,
My friend's
okay.
Pitbull.
So give us your best shot, Julie. Okay. Why are dogs better than cats in your mind?
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up my notes here really quick, just so I.
Oh,
She's
you
on the
make
spot.
notes
She's on
on
the spot.
this. Oh, we're
got
in
no-
trouble, Dan.
I've got
It's
no-
coming out as a blog post before we even upload this episode. She's got it all figured out. Link to her page, get her discount.
So the first thing that kind of comes to mind was like trainability, because the first thing I did when I brought Henry home is I read this book on training months, weeks before I got him, and I felt like, couldn't train him not to jump, but
While you were
he-
nesting, preparing
was
for
nesting.
the arrival.
yes. And as soon as he got here, we started training, and I can't even fathom being able to do this with a cat, but I get when Henry comes in from the backyard, he wipes his feet on the doormat before he like walks through the house. So I mean, I liked, that's one reason why I think dogs are better, is that you can train them. I'm not saying you can't train cats, but I think trainability would be one thing that
What are your thoughts on that, Elizabeth?
Well, I kind of agree. Cats are kind of like, oh yeah, talk to the tail. Goodbye. But I will say, that if you see the pictures behind me, Checkers is the general. She was our beloved cat. We never trained her, but she trained the other cats in the household. So we had 2 litter boxes and she trained them. One was for number 1 and one was for number 2. And it was hilarious. She ruled them with an iron fist. So maybe cats aren't trainable by people so much, but I think, if you have a strong cat personality, but no, I agree. Like they don't really have the Westminster cat show where they show cats jumping through hoops and stuff.
Yeah.
like they do
Although
with the
I think
dogs.
my Tony could. So I think
Yeah.
my cats are just special, or maybe there's something about me and I'm around them too much. But I'm pretty certain that with that stupid stick toy, which I started saying, I think on the last episode, that Tony upgraded. And I know we're completely on a tangent, but that's fine. That's our life. The stick toy that he loved was like a broken feather toy that we just randomly like had a string on and he loves, but now he found another one. And if we just go like this, he'll go wherever we tell him to. So we envision like if we have those big tubes or the tunnels or the balance beams, I think he would be
maybe
a candidate for that.
Yes.
But if you
well,
told him to do it, he won't. You have to trick him into doing it.
right. Well, one thing I will say, Julia, in defense of cats is now not all dogs are the same, not all cats are the same. I have met many dogs who will eat anything. they can find. A cat won't do that.
Well, to your point, I will give you that. I think cats come with a lot of instincts. Like, I don't think you have to potty train or housebreak, I guess would be,
Right.
a cat. So there's definitely a benefit there.
I'm taking notes to keep score of your pros and cons.
Oh, okay.
But I just love that. Like, there was just like, it was very rewarding just starting to see him, respond to some of the, the cues and stuff like that. And, he's not perfect and he's a little bit of a maniac at times, but, I like the process. I thought
that is really cool. My sister-in-law, she trained her beagles to ring the bell to come in and out and wipe their paws on the mat. But if any noise happens outside their house, you can't control them at all, like jumping crazy all over.
That's a little bit like Henry too. And he does. We had a doorbell on the back. We actually had to take off because it was annoying. He'd be wanting to go out all the time. And we had, you guys have probably seen on like TikTok and stuff like that, or Instagram, the woman with the dog and there's all these buttons. And I bought the buttons and I had, programmed each one to say something different. And I put one on the ground that said cheesy, because we call it cheesy, a little piece of cheese out of the fridge. He wouldn't say, you can't have them out though. He's like, oh, okay.
That's how I get a cheesy.
That's how I get a cheesy. And that was it. So it was like nonstop. It would be like cheesy, cheesy, cheesy. And it was driving us crazy. So we were just like, okay. So
you need to get video of that.
I have video of that. I have video of him using the doorbell in the back, and he was very smart. And I probably, if I had more time and I wanted to, I was very convinced I could get him to have like one of those boards and form some.
We've talked about that a couple of times. I think my Loki would be a good candidate for that same thing. He'd be hitting it all the time.
Yeah, Max might do that. My Kushi might do it too. So, okay. So what's another advantage of dogs?
Okay. So this might be a controversial one, but I feel like dogs are more affectionate in general. They want to be like, cats are like a kind of like, I'll come by you if I feel like it, we'll say. And like, you walk through the door and your dog is like, I'm here, I'm ready. Let's, give me a hug, whatever. And I just feel like when I walk into my sister's house and half the time her cat is
running.
So
I would like to add to that, because it depends on the personality of the cat and their surroundings. And I can say this because if you ring the doorbell at my house, one will be completely indifferent. Like, he won't even pick his head up. He won't care. One will run to the door, Loki, thinking, oh, someone's here for me. Who is it? And try to go outside and hang out. The other two will take off like scattering rats, and you won't even know where they went because they get scared. If, however, you don't ring my doorbell and you just come in and completely ignore them like it's no big deal, they will come and play and rub on your legs and be happy. It's just that whole like unknown thing.
Yeah, mine are so off doing their own thing so much. They'll like wander in and say, oh, you're here. Oh, okay. Maybe they want a pet. They're like, where's some more food? Especially Max. So yeah, I think you got us there, because dogs are very expressive in their joyful emotion at seeing they're human.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what, like, I feel like in my stage of life, having kids now, not jumping like that when I come home to give me that, like affection. I really needed that. And so that's something, I kind of like, we used to, in the beginning, we were like, we got to train him to stop giving us the meet and greet. And like, he jumps up to like give us a hug. In fact, my dog, when I get home, he jumps up and he pushes his paw down on the doorknob, because I have like one of those kind of handle doorknobs.
Oh, yeah, I know what
he'll push it and lean forward and open the door for me. Like, he's like, which is bad because he gets out a lot.
Well,
I have to keep the front door locked, but
yeah. So one kind of opposite thing about cats from that I do kind of like, though, is they'll go off and do their own thing a lot. And so you don't even really know that they're there. And so you don't have like, dogs are like always in your face. Like, they're always right there. And for me, like, I kind of like an animal that's not always in my face demanding my attention. So
they're very perceptive though, the cats. So I've shared before that, I wanted another cat because I felt like our original cat wasn't very affectionate to me. And then I manifested a cat that just jumped out from under a car like minutes after I told Brian I wanted another one. And that's how we wound up with Loki. But I was going through like a really tough time. And before I knew I was going through a tough time, I just was insanely tired. And the cat, I should have known right then and there something was up because the cats were like up my butt. Everywhere I went, they wanted to lay with me. They were rubbing on me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is nice. This is different. I wonder, maybe they're all grown up now and they're affectionate cats. They sensed that something was off with me. So when you need them, they're there. But same thing, I have a lot going on and I don't want something that is, I don't know why I keep saying up my butt, but I want something that's on my butt all day long.
Listen, they're high
And I
maintenance.
don't want to have to open and close the door all day.
I will, again, I'm going to give you something because it's like having a toddler that never grows up when you have a dog. And and when my husband and I want to go out and we're like, oh, we don't want to leave Henry home too long. And when we want to go on vacation, it's like, it's a lot. So I those times is when I kind of, I not that I would prefer to live with a cat, but I can see why others would, because it's definitely easier to get somebody to come over and just make sure your cat's fed and know that your cat's gonna be fine by themselves. And yeah, but yeah, it's like a toddler that just never grows up. So yeah, pain in the butt at times for sure.
Yeah, they all have their pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth, what do you have for why cats are better?
I think cats in general smell a lot better than dogs do, unless they're like our last episode. They're unneutered males that are doing that's
Then
bad.
they stink. Yeah.
But I think cats in general smell better, and I love their soft fur. Some dogs have soft fur, but a lot of dogs have like wiry fur. It sounds like yours has soft fur though.
He does, and I am gonna at some point get him. I should have brought some cheesy up here. If I say
You should have. Maybe if you keep saying it, he'll jump up.
Yeah.
Cheesy.
There's certain words in my house that I say that the cats come running.
Yeah. He's I'm surprised he's not out already, but no, I'm gonna give you that point. I'm not even gonna argue the smell.
I won that. That's what I won last time too. I brought that up.
But I had to say we had to start saying candy for Max's medicine because he learned the word medicine and he would take off. So we started calling it his candy. But okay. So we went on smell, I think.
Yeah, I mean, even so, my dog swims. It's his favorite thing to do. And yeah, so every day now he goes out, he swims, and I let him because it's exercise, and I don't walk him too much. It's a little hectic around my neighborhood, and he barks at everything. So, but then he's got a perpetual wet dog smell most of the summer.
You said it. I wasn't allowed to say it because I used it last time. That was my number one chief complaint was wet dog smell.
I mean, I'm giving him a lot of bath showers and stuff like that.
It's right up there for me with like moldy wet sponge. Like those two smells for me, I can't.
It's not a good smell.
We bought a used truck, like one of those big behemoth GMCs, whatever, years ago, and it had wet dog smell. I don't know. We had it for 5 or 6 years. It had it from the day we bought it till the day we sold it. It would never come out. It didn't matter how many times you went through the car wash or whatever.
Yeah, I think maybe dog owners become a little nose blind to the smells. But it's funny because at Ed's work they had bring your dog to work day recently, and he came home and the first thing he talked to me was like, oh, so-and-so's dog smelled so bad, and so-and-so's dog. So I mean, some are worse than others. I don't think Henry's terrible, but yeah, no, cats.
Okay,
I know,
so
cats don't smell.
What's the dog advantage then?
All right, hold on, let me get my notes. All right. Well, actually that kind of links to the swimming. I think they are good if you have an active lifestyle. I used to take him jogging with me before he was so big he'd pull me down because I had like one of those little fanny packs where his leash clips on. That became, once he got
like a
big,
death sentence for you, it sounds like.
Yeah, he literally dragged me down a couple times. He sees a squirrel and I'm done. So, but I love that I could take him jogging with me or even go for walks. Love the idea of, we love Asbury Park, and I loved the idea of being able to take him for walks there with all the other dogs. But again, my dog's a little bit of an when he sees another dog.
Oh gosh.
So that dream.
We will be editing, so we'll bleep that little bit out.
I'm
Keep it
sorry.
family friendly. That's okay.
I am
Of all
sorry.
people, the only other person to drop a bad word, only because Julia knows who this is, was Renata, the sweetest woman in the whole world. She dropped a potty word and she went, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't want you guys to get an R rating on the
We're good. And then for
Yeah.
those who are not familiar with New Jersey, Asbury Park is a really cool area with the
Mhm.
boardwalk and the beaches. And there's like a puppy bar where they put like little bowls out and people are encouraged to come outside with their pets.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
the Wonder Bar has Yappy Hour, and I have not brought Henry yet. And every year I say, I'm like, Ed, this is the year. We just got to get him. We took him to a doggy daycare once just so he can get used to other dogs. And I was watching the video feed, and the poor dog, and this was like 2 years ago, he was cowering in the corner.
Aw.
Well, all the other dopey dogs are just playing, and it was like a big tennis ball drop, and they're all like freaking out. And Henry's in the corner, just like, and it broke my heart. But I don't
It's
think
like having the shy kid at school. Like,
Yeah.
oh, my kid's not making any friends.
But we don't even try to have our cats make friends.
Yeah, well,
That
so
is an advantage. You could never take a cat to a cat park. Have them
No.
play with
well,
the other
well,
cats.
they do have those. I mean, I've never been in one because I think it would actually kill me. But they have those like
Cafes, yeah.
cat cafes. I guess it's not bring your own cat. I guess you just get there and there's other
Yeah, we
strange
actually
cats.
have an upcoming guest who actually him and his wife run one in California that they're going to come on and talk about. But it's a cool way to get animals adopted. So it's a cafe you go
Oh,
to, and then
okay.
the idea is you meet the cat, you fall in love, and you have to take them home.
Oh, that's actually nice.
Yeah. And then I've seen cats too, like in libraries. So when we are traveling to Alaska, we're going via Seattle, and I purposely look up cool things to do that are either cat or like other topics that I like. Like we might check out the Modern Museum of Pop. I think I'm calling it the wrong thing because there's like a Nirvana thing there. So I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. But there's a couple bookstores that have resident cats. So
Oh.
while my
Yeah.
family's going to do some museum thing, I'm going to go hang out with the cats at the bookstore.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
grew up in Seattle. We used to go down the Oregon coast, and there was a bookstore there that we used to go to that was just packed full of books, and it had cats. It had the bookstore cats, and that was always really fun. But my grandma, she was kind of getting older by then, and my aunt, so I don't know how old I was, went with my mom to the bookstore, and I guess it had like a nasty section, and
Oh
so
my gosh.
they
A
wandered
naughty
in there
section.
they wandered in there by accident, and I guess you could hear them all over the store going, "What is this?"
Oh my gosh.
My
Wow,
mom thought it was hilarious.
we are really good at tangents. I love it. Love
Yes,
it,
I'm
love
very
it.
good at tangents. So yes, cats can live in bookstores. I guess dogs could live in bookstores. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like a
they
lot of people have like dogs in like convenience stores even, or like
I was gonna say, there are a couple dogs at the tanning salon that I frequent. Don't tell my dermatologist, I just said that. Um, and there's just these two English bulldogs, and they're the cutest, laziest things ever. They just kind of like
Aw.
they sniff you when you come in, but it's cute. I would love to own a business that you could like have your pet there all day. That's super cute. But
very cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do like I know you have like a whole list, but pick like your next like mic drop. This is why dogs are better. And Elizabeth, you give
Okay.
some thought to why the cats are the best. Because then I want to kind of talk about a couple of other things before we wrap up for today.
Yeah, I have a good one for cats. So okay.
All right. Well, this would be, I guess, my mic drop one is dogs that can be trained into assistance roles for people with disabilities.
Yes.
And I think that that's a huge benefit. I do know that cats can be support animals, but I think it's really cool that a dog can be trained to actually help a blind person or help a person with a seizure disorder. So I guess that would be
That's a
top
good
why
one.
dogs are better.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I support the Association of United States Army AUSA. They do this fundraiser every year to get a service dog for a vet. And just like talking to them about like what it does for them. It's pretty huge. I think you won that one, dude.
Yeah. So okay. So this is my last one. This is one I talked to Danielle about before, but we haven't mentioned on air.
Okay.
And a cat is about the size of a baby. So you can carry a cat around and snuggle a cat and put it over your shoulder and hold it in your arms like you would do a baby. Maybe not exactly like you would do a baby, but it is kind of like carrying a baby around. So that I think that that's one reason why a lot of people subconsciously like cats and don't even know why they really like cats. But it's like carrying a baby.
So for a normal person, they might say that. Me, I immediately think of how badly I would get shredded up if I did that with my cats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do not like to be held. But
Oh.
again, I adopt special cats like that are a little bit harder to adopt or
Mine don't either,
right?
but I force them to. I used to know somebody who called it paying their dues.
Aw.
So nobody has told my dog that he's not the size of a baby and he likes to be carried around. And
Aw.
again, I'd love to send you some pictures to support some of the things we're talking about.
Yeah,
but
please do. We actually ask all our guests to
Okay.
when we put them up on social.
How
'cause I've
much
got-
does
yeah,
Henry weigh?
he's about 50 pounds. And so he's a medium-sized dog, but he's when he's standing on his hind
He's
legs,
really
he's
tall, yeah.
He's
So
tall.
he wants to be carried. He's 50 pounds. He wants to be carried around.
Yeah, I mean, well, it used to be, he used to like kind of jump up as if he's like, you have to pick me up. And so there's tons of pictures of him as he's getting older of us holding him. But now when we go to pick him up, we put our hands under his little arms and we like hold him and he'll just like you carry him around the house. And
I can
he's
totally
huge.
picture that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm getting flashbacks to like back in the day. We used to have a Rottweiler. Her name was Princess Jasmine. But like my dad was like not like a real soft person, but if it was raining outside, you'd see him outside like picking the dog up with an umbrella so that the dog can go outside and go to the bathroom. And she used to let us pick her up.
oh.
Yeah.
Big old ratty.
Well, that's keeping your arms pretty strong then. If you're carrying around 50 pounds.
I try. Yeah, we tend to pick him up a lot when he just got out the other day. When he gets outside, he does, the zoomies or, just tries to run around the front yard and he's so excited to be loose. And lately, Ed's been kind of getting out there and be like, lay down. And he lays down and then Ed goes and scoops him up and picks him up because we don't want to like risk him
Aw.
getting loose again. I mean, we live in a small neighborhood and there's like a main road. There's no, one way in, one way out. And it's like my fear that he's going to like just go. But so far we've been pretty lucky that he tends to not venture far, but. Yeah.
So
Good.
what is something that you're excited about? And do you think we'll get a Henry appearance? And when I say something you're excited about, it could be anything. It could be about your cool creative project. It could be home. It could be your dog. It could be, I don't know, my cats, even though I know it'd never be a thing.
Well, I am excited about my kind of new creative side hustle for sure. Again, just kind of giving me a creative outlet. It's helping me meet new people. It's helping me, just find new ways to communicate. But I guess on a more like immediate note, I'm going on vacation with the kids. We're going to Bermuda at the end of the month on a cruise.
I love Bermuda. Oh my gosh, you're so
Yes.
lucky.
It's our favorite place. We've been there with the kids once already, and I've been there with my husband a few times, and it's just our favorite place. And COVID, this cruise has been rescheduled 2 times already. And I was telling Danielle, first for COVID, it was canceled, and then last year we got COVID right before we were leaving for the cruise, and that was back when you had to test negative. So this is our 3rd shot at this cruise. So we're excited about that, and just realized it's 3 weeks away from Sunday. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel, I feel like I need to prepare for a vacation a lot longer than that. And I really haven't had any time to think about it. So 3 weeks is going to go by quick, and then out of here and get some, disconnect and have to, just try to like unwind a little bit. So
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a counter. I actually just shared it yesterday that I have, how many days is it here? 29 now, I think.
Yeah, we're leaving.
29 days until I leave to go to Seattle for Alaska.
I was going to say,
Nice.
we're leaving it's pretty close together actually.
I
So.
know, and I still have your travel toiletry bag.
That's okay. You know what? You keep it as a gift, no
Yes.
problem. I'll just reach out to them and tell them that I'll do some free content creation
Yeah,
if they
to
send
get
me a
it.
new one.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say you can use it as long as you tag me in Norwegian Cruise Line when you use it on the boat.
Nice. Well, we don't really
Cool.
have any vacations planned, but my daughter's going to be back, which is going to be awesome. She's
Mhm.
27 years old, and we are planning to go to some Broadway shows. So like
Ooh.
there are some specifically geared towards women right now. Like We Are 6 that I kind of want to see, but we may have to compromise and let Richard come with us. We don't know, but that's kind of like, we're going to do little fun things. And the Jersey Shore, it's awesome.
Very
So
cool. And your birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks, or possibly around about the time that this might be releasing. Who knows?
no, it's August 17th.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. Yes, my birthday is Black Cat Day.
Nice.
August 17th. So how could I not like cats, right?
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us. What is the best way that people can connect with you, Jules?
So my handle on basically all social media platforms is at the Jules Henry. So you can follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, and it's on TikTok. It's not a lot of content creation. It's more just me in real life. So yeah.
Cool. And then we'll make sure that we have that on our site as well as in all of our social media and the show notes. And if you happen to scroll through all Instagram hours, you'll see cats, a really cute picture of Henry, and then cats.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for
Thanks.
listening. Make sure that you go to thejerseypodcats.com to check out more information about things we love and previous guest information. Follow, subscribe, all that jazz. And thanks so much for listening.
Thanks so much for listening. Let's keep the conversation going. Give this podcast a rating so other cat lovers can find it. Connect with the Jersey Podcasts on social media or visit thejerseypodcats.com and leave a message sharing a story or question about cats. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode.